There's a quiet belief many of us hold. It doesn't really matter if I'm not seen or heard. For years, I believed it was fine to stay in the background, to keep my ideas, thoughts, and emotions hidden. I thought that being unnoticed made things easier for everyone, including myself. But what I didn't realize was how much I was shrinking away from life and how damaging that was to my self-worth. Not showing up often feels safe. If we don't put ourselves out there, we can avoid rejection, criticism, or disappointment. It's a protective mechanism, a way to ensure we don't face the vulnerability of being exposed or judged. But what seems like protection is actually a form of self-abandonment. Every time we choose not to show up, we are telling ourselves that we don't matter enough to be seen, that our thoughts, feelings, and contributions aren't valuable. This often stems from deeper emotional struggles, like low self-worth or a fear of failure. Perhaps we've internalized the idea that our voice isn't worth hearing, or that we'll never measure up to some arbitrary standard of enough. These beliefs can drive us to fade into the background, playing small in relationships, work, and even our passions. But the cost of not showing up is far greater than the risk of vulnerability. When you consistently choose not to show up, you erode the relationship you have with yourself. It sends the message that don't value. Over time, this can lead to a deep disconnect from your own desires and potential. You stop trusting yourself. You silence your own voice before anyone else even has the chance to hear it. This might show up as staying in the shadows in group settings, avoiding challenges, or downplaying your own achievements. You might think, but it does matter. Every time you choose to show up, you're choosing self-respect. And when you don't, you're telling yourself that you're not important enough to occupy space in the world. The power of being seen. There's an undeniable power in simply being seen. When you allow yourself to show up, whether it's at work, in relationships, or creatively, you begin to affirm your own worth. Showing up isn't about being perfect or always knowing what to say or do. It's about being present, being willing to engage with life, and allowing yourself to take up space. The truth is, your presence has an impact. Whether it's your ideas in a meeting, your emotional support in a friendship, or the way you express your creativity. Showing up is an act of courage because it invites connection. It means risking vulnerability, but also opening the door to possibility. Choosing to show up for yourself. So how do you begin to show up for yourself when you've spent years believing it was okay not to? It starts with small steps. Begin by acknowledging the places in your life where you're holding back. Is it at work? In your relationships? With your personal goals? Once you identify where you're not showing up, you can start practicing showing up in manageable ways. Maybe that means speaking up in a meeting, sharing your thoughts with a loved one, or pursuing a creative project you've been putting off. Remember, showing up is not about instant perfection. It's about progress and practice. Over time, as you show up more in your life, you'll begin to rebuild trust with yourself. You'll notice a shift in how you feel about your own value, and you'll see the positive ripple effect it has on your relationships and opportunities. The choice to be present. Life is too short to play small or hide in the shadows. The more you show up, the more you realize that your presence matters, perhaps more than you've ever given yourself credit for. You are worthy of being seen, heard, and valued. So next time you think, remember, you owe it to yourself to be present in your own life. Show up, take up space. You're worth it. If you like this video, please give it a like or subscribe to my channel.